Hello everyone, I'm Lao Gao. Today, let's talk about how hackers have become an unavoidable topic as modern society becomes more dependent on the internet. In our current lives, we can't live without our phones and the internet. Our passwords, our money, our photos, and our privacy all exist on our phones and the internet. So who is going to protect their security? Theoretically, there isn't any company that can guarantee our things are absolutely safe, including tech giants like Microsoft and Google. They can't do it either. Have our accounts been hacked? Credit cards.
It is often leaked as well, yes.
Credit cards often get stolen. Actually, it's not just these internet companies. Even the Pentagon in the United States is frequently breached. The UFO segment we talked about last time was originally stolen by hackers from the Pentagon. If the Pentagon gets breached often, then regular people's computers are easy targets. So hacking is a crucial topic for the future. Otherwise, in the virtual age, we're like lambs to the slaughter. To be completely honest, I feel like the majority of individuals don't possess a particularly negative impression of hackers. Indeed, in fact, there exist numerous types of hackers. Initially, we need to differentiate a concept. Hackers and crackers are not identical. Hackers are a type of hacker, and their main job is cracking. Those who focus on cracking are called hackers. Those not into cracking are just called hackers. Hackers are split into three types by nature: black hat, white hat, and gray hat hackers. Some people are like grand wizards, black-robed grand wizards, and white-robed grand wizards, right? Black hat hackers are hackers with the purpose of committing crimes. Oh, they break into some systems and networks mainly to steal other people's information and assets, like tomb raiders. Yes, white hat hackers, also known as white hats, primarily protect networks, preventing hackers from breaking in, which is their job.
This is an archaeologist.
The Cultural Relics Bureau. Another group is gray hats. They're hard to define as strictly white or black hats. They're known as gray hats.
After I excavated the burial site, I was redirected onto the roadway.
It depends on how you articulate your explanation. You are considered a white hat. If you don't explain it clearly, then you're a black hat. If you don't encounter the police, then you're a gray hat. Actually, a gray hat usually refers to someone who is interested in researching hacking techniques. Their main purpose is not to commit crimes, but rather to study how to attack systems. Yes, it's like a challenge. They just enjoy this kind of thing. It's understandable to call them gray hats, so usually gray hats are quite skilled. Because he is a black hat that hasn't been caught, so he is quite skilled.
Oh, so are all black hats caught?
As long as it is defined as a black hat, it essentially indicates they were apprehended, similar to when the United States intercepted a batch of terrorist Apple phones but couldn't unlock them. Not even Apple could. So the US government purchased the technique to unlock the iPhones from a group of gray hats. This is what gray hats are about. They have the capability to locate gray hats. Finding them suggests some might cooperate with the government. In college, I studied hacking by reading library books. Back then, the internet wasn't developed and online info was scarce. But there wasn't a hacking book in the library. They're all white hat books. It teaches you about network security, but through these network security books, you can learn many methods to attack networks. Of course, my main purpose is to learn about network security. Are you a gray hat? Me.
I can't get to that level.
As long as I'm not being cheated on, I'm fine. I read the first book by K, and it's really thick, like a dictionary. I went through it page by page, and it essentially conveys one principle: the three most important steps in cybersecurity. The first step is to disconnect from the network. If you encounter a cyber attack, no technology matters. The most crucial first step is to cut off the connection. If that doesn't work, cut the power, though sometimes that doesn't help either. For instance, IC cards and credit cards don't need electricity. Sometimes a device just needs to be near you to steal info from your card, so cutting power isn't enough. You need physical isolation. In hacking, there's something crucial, and half of this book discusses it, called social engineering. The most important thing for hackers is not the technology, but how to get close to the target they want to attack. They often disguise themselves as your friends or classmates to appear around you, actually to steal your information. That specific book mainly delves into the various techniques of establishing a friendship with another individual. Social justice studies will have nothing to do with computer knowledge. Actually, computer technology is just that. It's about who can get close to the target you want to approach. For example, if you want to attack a banking system, it's actually very difficult and almost impossible from the outside. So what do? You just observe who comes to work here every day, and if you get a chance to access their card, you can get in. Once you're in, it's not a big problem. That's how it is. This is mainly what hackers do.
Didn't know the library had this. Not interesting.
Are there books you avoid once you see them? Yeah, they're interesting. It's because the content focuses on social engineering, so it stays relevant. If it's about tech, it can become outdated, or if it's about vulnerabilities, they can be patched and become useless. If vulnerabilities get patched quickly, they're useless. But social engineering is always handy, anytime. It shows you how to handle situations like the art of war, right? It's kind of like being a spy, don't you think? Indeed, sometimes you need to use insiders, counterintelligence, living spies, and dead spies. You have to use them all. A few years ago, there was a case of theft at a virtual currency exchange, mainly committed by the exchange's internal staff. It's really difficult for outsiders to break in, but internally it's particularly vulnerable. If you're an employee, like if I worked at a bank, it would be really easy for me to access the internal codes or some information. So social engineering is considered one of the most important skills for hackers. Today, I will introduce you to a few historically famous hackers. They've all become black hats, haven't they? Yes, actually, these hackers have already been discovered, so they became hackers. Once a hacker is discovered, their value is lost. If everyone knows he's a hacker, it becomes difficult for him to hack others, and social engineering doesn't work well. So today, I'm introducing a few hackers, most of whom are no longer hackers. The first very famous hacker is Kevin Poulsen, who was one of the very early hackers in American history. 55 years old now, a former black hat.
He got caught.
Did they catch him? No, they didn't. Now, he's a journalist in digital security in the US and very skilled at phone line hacking. Early hackers were all skilled with phone lines. We all use internet cables or Wi-Fi now, but in the early days it was telegraphs, possibly. In 1982, when he was 17 years old, he successfully hacked into the US Department of Defense, but he didn't do anything, so the Department of Defense didn't press charges against him. 5 years later, at the age of 22, he was wanted by the FBI for repeatedly hacking into the Federal Bureau of Investigation and altering documents, and then he went on the run.
Where'd he go?
He went into hiding, and he hid quite a lot. During that time, he hacked into the FBI again for revenge. He kept provoking the FBI, who referred to him as the Hannibal of the computer world. His most renowned hacking activity involved a radio station located in Los Angeles that organized a contest, announcing that the 102nd caller would be awarded a Porsche. Consequently, everyone was frantically making calls, and he ultimately hijacked the entire telephone network. He called in, and all the calls were made by him, so he won a Porsche. He really got it. Eventually, he was arrested in 1995, charged with 7 offenses and sentenced to 5 years in prison. After his release, he was prohibited from accessing computers and network equipment for 3 years. It wasn't until 2004 that he was first allowed to use a computer, but only under the supervision of a parole officer. Later, he wrote some articles related to hacking and network information security and submitted them to a newspaper. He became a senior editor at the newspaper. He's also skilled in network tracking and anti-tracking. He also assisted the police in capturing some cyber criminals. The next very famous hacker is called Adrian Lamo. He is also an American, but his father is Colombian, so his name and appearance resemble a Colombian. He was born in 1981 and is known in the community as the homeless hacker. On one hand, it's because this person really has no fixed residence, and on the other hand, he usually launches attacks from public networks, like libraries or shopping centers, not from his own home computer. His targets are mainly large companies, such as Microsoft and Yahoo, as well as some news agencies. He is not a hacker, he is a white hat. After attacking these companies and news agencies, he would tell them that there's a problem with their network and that they should fix it immediately. But you should know, especially for newspapers, they don't appreciate this kind of attack. It's like the feeling of someone constantly watching your house and trying to break in every day. One day, I infiltrated and left a note stating that your residence isn't particularly secure, please contact me. Would you feel pleased to discover this note upon returning home? So, he once breached a New York Times database and modified a paper by appending his name to the author's name. Then he called the newspaper and said that their network security was terrible. The newspaper immediately sued him, and as a result, he was arrested by the FBI. Sentenced to 6 months of house arrest and 6 months of isolation, and prohibited from using computers and the internet. It's quite painful, isn't it? Actually, he said the reason he did it was that he wanted to secure a position in these big companies. He thought if he could always breach their networks, maybe they could offer him a job in network security. But the big companies were quite afraid of him and no one dared to hire him, you know? Later, in 2007, a particularly significant event occurred. An American soldier leaked some military confidential information to a website called WikiLeaks. Later, this soldier was caught by the FBI and sentenced to 35 years in prison for leaking state secrets. Why was this individual apprehended? It was due to Lamo's report. As a hacker, Lamo discovered this individual and subsequently notified the FBI, leading to the FBI's arrest of him. Nevertheless, since the individual who disclosed the national military secrets did so for a righteous cause, numerous individuals supported him. After Lamo revealed his identity, many individuals criticized Lamo. Consequently, Lamo went into seclusion, and eventually in the year 2018, he was discovered deceased in his residence. Died at 37, so young.
Oh my goodness.
The cause of death is unknown. After I introduce these hackers today, you might not want to be hackers anymore. The subsequent individual, Jonathan Joseph James, holds the distinction of being the youngest hacker in the history of the United States to receive a sentencing. At the age of 15, he wasn't actually a black hat, he was a gray hat specializing in researching hacking techniques. When he was 15, he successfully hacked into the US Department of Defense's DTRA, which stands for the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, one of the most critical think tanks of the Department of Defense. This department specializes in analyzing defense threats to prevent the US from being subjected to large-scale terrorist attacks or military attacks. Some confidential operational plans are also a significant part of this department's work, which is why he hacked into it. Even though he stumbled upon something he shouldn't have, he also managed to hack NASA and downloaded some very valuable code. NASA claimed the stolen code was worth 1.7 million. How did he gain access? Initially, he didn't plan to breach these systems. Instead, he set up a network sniffer on a server. Those familiar with network security know that a sniffer is a tool almost all hackers find crucial to use. This sniffer can be either software or hardware. Nowadays, software versions are more common. Once installed on a server, it acts like a network monitor, allowing it to see what information is being transmitted over the network. He used this sniffer to intercept the usernames and passwords of employees from 10 important departments of the US Department of Defense. With these usernames and passwords, he easily accessed the core areas of the US Department of Defense. It wasn't very difficult, just a basic technique, but the result was that he hacked in and the problem became quite serious. There are also hardware versions of this sniffer, which, if placed near your home, could potentially steal your home network information. Your email, username, password, and bank info can all be stolen. This scenario is common in movies, but where is it sold? Amazon does not offer this particular item for individual use. It is intended for enterprise-level operations. Certain companies utilize it for network monitoring when employed correctly, but if misused, it is referred to as a sniffer. This misuse resulted in him receiving a sentence of 7 months in prison at the age of 15. He became the first minor in the history of the United States to be sentenced for cybercrime. The judge mentioned that if he was slightly older, he would have faced at least a 10-year sentence due to the severity. After serving his time, he lived quietly. However, in 2007, hackers targeted the American department store chain, TJX. Millions of customer records were lost. After an investigation, the police suspected he was involved in the incident, so they conducted a raid on his home but found no evidence. However, from that point on, he developed depression. Later, due to this matter, in 2008, a year later, he committed suicide at the age of just 24. On the anniversary, yes, his father said it was the police's mistake, it had nothing to do with us, and they caused him to suffer from depression. In fact, when he was 15 and sentenced, he already had a bit of depression.
But often these particularly smart people seem to have a bit of tolerance.
Prone to depression, right? Okay, next is Marcus Butler. This person has changed his name several times. The name I'm mentioning is his original name, known in the community as Iceman. It's a bit different from the hackers we mentioned earlier. The ones before switched from black hat to white hat, but this one went from white hat to black hat. Initially, he was a white hat. Born in 1972, by 25, he worked at a gaming company. His main role was to attack other gaming companies' websites, basically doing competitive corporate attacks. That's what he did. Later, his attack methods caught the attention of the FBI by chance, and they thought he could be developed further, so they asked him if he would work for them. From then on, the FBI assigned him a lot of tasks, telling him to hack into certain networks one day and crack passwords the next. Through years of work, his skills improved rapidly. At the same time, he learned various criminal techniques and he decided to go solo. From then on, he turned from white to black. Of course, he didn't tell the FBI. He thought to himself silently, it turns out that making money this way is very easy. He discovered that the easiest way to make money was by cloning credit cards. He first got another person's credit card and swiftly sold it on the black market. Thus, he started misusing credit cards in many ways. He discovered that there were 5 particularly significant companies or organizations on the black market that specialized in selling credit card information. He thought he was progressing too slowly, so he took down all 5 of them. Oh, he ended up as the top dealer of stolen credit card info in the US, catching the FBI's eye. At first, they didn't know it was him, so they sent a spy to get close, then realized, isn't this one of ours? Could it be a counter-spy? Turns out he was secretly involved in this, so they caught him and gave him 13 years. Quite the individual.
His counter-surveillance wasn't enough.
Subsequently, he became overly confident and brought them all down. Only he remained. He got 2 million credit card details. How much did he make? It's thought he earned at least $100 million, right? He was caught in 2017 and sentenced to 13 years, correct? Tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Sure. I've already checked, and it will be out tomorrow. The next person, Gary McKinnon, is British and is 55 years old this year. As a British citizen, he primarily stole American intelligence. In 2002, he quietly infiltrated the US Department of Defense and NASA systems to steal relevant information. After stealing the data, he left a message on a Pentagon computer saying, "Your security system." It's just garbage, and he deleted some important files. This deletion caused over 2,000 computers of the US military to crash, and it also led to the malfunction of the Army's missile control system at the time. As a result, the US military was very angry and demanded that the UK arrest this person and extradite him to the United States for sentencing. They said he should get at least 70 years. When the UK checked, they found he loved UFOs. His main reason for hacking into these US systems was to find UFO info. He believed the US Department of Defense and NASA were hiding a lot about aliens, so he went in to see. He mentioned that he indeed uncovered a document referred to as the Alien General File, and additionally discovered a substantial collection of Earth photographs that had been modified by NASA. There is no extradition treaty between the UK and the US regarding cybercrime. Therefore, in theory, the UK could choose not to extradite him. However, under strong pressure from the US, the UK agreed to extradite him in 2008. But soon after, the British Autism Association and his legal team collectively appealed, stating that he has autism and cannot be extradited to the US. As a result, he has not been extradited to the US to this day, and many people believe this. The UK says that extraditing him is just for show to the US, but not extraditing him is the UK's decision because they've gained a lot of information from him, making extradition impossible. Furthermore, it's said that this person still occasionally hacks into US systems and regularly releases some internal information about NASA and the US. His alien community is quite supportive of him. Not going home is fine. The last one is Kevin Mitnick, an American who is 57 years old this year, in his 50s. Indeed, that era produced some real talent. Yes, during the 1970s and 1980s, hackers were quite formidable. He was once a black hat hacker, and now he is a computer security consultant and author. He was once called the world's #1 hacker.
Wow.
His parents saw him as solitary, with no friends since childhood. In high school, he discovered computers and fell in love, spending every day learning tech. At 16, he hacked into the American telecom company's phone system. He made telephone calls without paying for them and then proceeded to alter the phone numbers of tens of thousands of American households merely as a prank. As he matured, he began stealing a wide range of company data. At one point, he was apprehended by the police, but he managed to escape during the transfer process. How did he escape? In the car transporting him, he hacked the phone of the officer escorting him. Wasn't he handcuffed? I don't know how he did it. Then he also hacked into the computer of the judge who was trying him and deleted all his criminal records, so could he still be judged? After that, there was no evidence, making it very difficult to catch him. From then on, he acted without restraint, committing various cybercrimes without anyone being able to catch him. But eventually, in 1995, when he was 32 years old, he was caught. How was he caught? This involves another very famous person named Tsutomu Shimomura, who is a Japanese American. One of America's top computer security experts. He was mainly responsible for the network security work at the US Supercomputer Center. In 1994, Mitnick hacked into the San Diego Supercomputer Center, which led to a conflict with Tsutomu Shimomura. Since Shimomura was the security expert there, he decided to assist the FBI in capturing this person. Mitnick was quite audacious. After learning about Shimomura, he directly hacked into Shimomura's personal computer. He stole some of his data and left a threatening voicemail saying something like, "I'm going to take you down." Later, on February 13, 1995, Shimomura tracked down Mitnick's location using network tracing technology, and the FBI arrested him. Overnight, Shimomura became famous in the US, hailed as a hero, with over 600 news outlets worldwide wanting interviews. Newsweek also selected him as one of the 50 most influential people on the internet. Later, this event was turned into a book and made into a movie, which was released in the year 2000, called Track Down, meaning to track down Shimomura. I personally also appeared in this movie, but he did not play the lead role or himself. He played a minor character. It is said that the film company paid Shimomura $2 million for his involvement.
Then for you, you are Mitnick. Absolutely not. Use his name and things. Yes, used it.
It also highlights how unfortunate Mitnick, the notorious black hat hacker, was as he was apprehended, while there are others who remain uncaptured. There are numerous well-known hacker collectives around the globe today, yet no one knows precisely how many individuals are part of these groups.
Do you have to be very smart to do that? Yes.
Young people hacking systems mainly rely on technology, while adults often use social engineering. So a real hacker isn't like what people imagine, sitting in front of a computer all day typing away. It's not like that. They might not even look like they're in IT, they could be a YouTuber.